Wow. Sorry, I'm a bit teary. I was introduced to you about 2 years ago by my wife. And it's been a big journey since then. I suppose my relationship with you is really a relationship with myself. Offered a lot of clarity. So the love I have for you, which is a love for myself, I also have some anger and some frustrations.
Get out.
Where am I going to cry? It was a year and a half ago. Everything was magic. I had some desires, and my whole world supported that desire faster than I imagined. And I let go of resistance. I'm usually a heavy thinker, which is to my detriment that I see. So I let go.
To your advantage. Focus is always to your advantage. Getting good at focusing in the direction that feels best takes some time, but focus is always a wonderful thing.
Okay. And I've been on this journey. I've traveled around the world for about a year and a half now, and I had this desire to go somewhere with my wife. We went there, and the desire became undesirable. And I have a problem with that because I feel that everything was lining up, and I felt good, I felt great, it was inspiring. I let go of everything and turned up to be at that point. And it just didn't feel good. I would wake up, I don't cry a lot, it's very emotional for me now, but I would wake up with a tear in my eye and I was not happy. I wasn't feeling, it was heavy resistance. I can't explain to myself why that happened if I originally thought that was my desire. I mean,
part of what it is, we'll help you sort it out here, but we were leading into it as we were talking earlier about what a big stake most humans put in manifestation. In other words, it's like having an idea of some place or being someplace and then needing it to be a certain way in order for you to feel good. And sometimes when you get there, it isn't what you wanted it to be, and so you don't feel good. And we want to help you not be dependent upon some place or some event or some situation for your feelings, because the events and situations and conditions will change in response to your feelings. But when your feelings are changing in response to the conditions, now that's a backward thing. Many people are living a very conditional love or conditional life. And even when they begin playing with us for a while, they think, well, I'll become a deliberate creator so that I can control conditions, so that I can have a better response to conditions. And that's still backwards of what we are encouraging. We don't want the condition to need to change. We don't want your life to depend upon your response to a condition. We want your happiness to depend upon your ability to focus within all conditions, understanding that the conditions will then change. But that's an interesting thing, because when we say, if you can focus unconditionally, if you can line up unconditionally and find clarity and happiness unconditionally, then the condition will change. So then it's still sort of about the condition. So we want it to not be about the condition. We want it to be about the way you feel. We want you to show yourself that you can, under any conditions, be happy. And once that unconditional happiness is understood, our audiences often, especially if they're new to us, they really don't enjoy those words from us, because they think, oh, well, Abraham's just trying to get us to be happy with what we've got and accept the conditions that are. And that isn't what this is about at all. It's that all things that you want will morph into the precise things you want and more. We would like you to know that what you've put into your vortex over time, with so much precision, through so much sifting and sorting, is a very detailed and exact unfolding that really only the universe, only your inner being, only the source within you has the capacity right now to see in its fullness. because you've been putting it there so incrementally, and you have no ability to comprehend the way it will fit together in the wonderful unfolding that is coming. But when you get fixated on some aspect of it that's a little bit off from what you expected, then you separate yourself from your ability to then receive the impulse and the encouragement and be in the right place, right timeness of what will come next. So there's an element of trust or faith that you have to give over to when things are not going exactly as you think you want them to go. Everyone has that test of faith every now and again where it just feels like, I did all the right things, why am I not getting all the right results? And we say, you are getting the right results, you're just not giving yourself time enough to tune in to the right results. It's a little bit like stomping on the garden where the tomato seeds have been planted and demand that tomatoes show itself to you now in all of its fullness and ripeness, when there is a process that is involved. And that tomato, if it is nurtured, it will show itself to you and it will be delicious. But if you get impatient, if you get discouraged, if you stop tending to your garden, then it doesn't come.
Am I creating my next desire? Is this process now where the contrast...
Of course it is. Of course it is. But that is annoying. And we do not want to imply that it takes hardship and disappointment in order to launch the next desire, because the next desire will launch out of complete satisfaction also. You'll get to this place where you will be savoring the aspects of life so much that it just knocks you over the ability of the universe to surprise and delight you and please you at levels that you didn't even realize were possible.
Right.
So don't take score too soon.
Yeah.
Realize that all of it is of value. Realize that it is continuing to unfold for you, and that everything that you thought still is. In other words, it's still unfolding. Everything that you want is there. Here's the thing. Do I have the ability to not be disappointed even when conditions are disappointing? That's a really big question. And the answer is, how conditional are you? Disappointment or your pleasure is conditional or contingent upon the condition, then you're probably going to be disappointed quite a bit as conditions are improving. But if you have the ability to see it as coming and to accept it as part of the process and embrace the clarity that is coming as a result of the contrast, then what happens is you discover things right around that disappointment that are not disappointment. It's like finding the real treasure. It's like finding it where it is. It's like the treasures are buried all over the forest, but somebody gave you a map and said, here's where it is. So you went to that spot and you dug and you dug and you dug and you dug and you didn't find the treasure because whoever gave you the map didn't really know where it is. But your inner being does, and it's all around you. But instead, you're so disappointed that you throw down your shovel and you assume that the story isn't real and that the treasures aren't there. And so you miss them, even though they were all around you. Where if you could have just stayed encouraged, then an impulse would come and an impulse would come, and there you would find the treasure lying right there on the surface of the ground. It wasn't even buried. It wasn't even hard to find. Not for you. Yeah.
So if I've got to that X on the map where the treasure is, and I'm feeling that, oh man, I've missed it, and it's there, how can I pivot at that point to...
Pretty hard. By the time you've reached a place where you're in true disappointment and you're beating the drum of where is it, where is it, where is it? Yeah. So that's where a nice nap comes in. That's where refreshing comes in. Right. Go putting your feet in some water, meditate, make love to somebody, do something that distracts you from the disappointment. And then...
Okay.
You'll be refreshed and back in true sync with your resources. In other words, your clarity can return in the moment that you stop doing that thing that is keeping it from being there. Helpful?
Amazingly. Thank you very much.